Welcome to the video looking at GCSE Higher simultaneous equations, and we're looking at linear assessment. So write two equations in U of V. I've got John and Andrew have £3.40 between them. John has £1.20 more than Andrew. John has U pounds, Andrew has V pounds. Right, well the first thing I can see is John and Andrew have £3.40 between them. So John's got U pounds, Andrew's got V pounds, so it's just going to be U. If I'm writing two equations, this is just U plus V equals £3.40. The other equation I need is got something to do with this. Okay, John has £1.20 more than Andrew. So if I took £1.20 away from John, so if I do U take away £1.20, that gives me V, which is Andrew. Or if I add £1.20 onto Andrew, that would give me John. So if I do V plus £1.20, that would equal U. So that's what I'll do. You could do either of those, but if I do V plus £1.20, that'll equal U. Now the easiest way probably to solve this, whenever you have one value that's already given to you and you got that value in the other equation, it's probably the easiest thing to do is to do it by substitution. So I'm going to look at that by substitution. It's probably less easy to make a mistake by substitution. So this part here, that's equal to U, so I'm going to substitute it into there. So that gives me here, by substitution, that gives me V plus £1.20, because that's the same thing as U, plus another V is equal to £3.40. Okay, so now I can simplify that. 2V plus £1.20 equals £3.40. It gives me 2V equals, I'm going to take £1.20 away from both sides, so it gives me £2.20. So V is equal to £1.10. Not quite finished. If V is £1.10, they've got £3.40 between them, then the U must I can substitute V back into here, so U plus £1.10 equals £3.40, so that means U must be equal to £2.30. It's probably easiest to do that by substitution. You can do it by elimination. Let's have a look how. Okay, so if I just rewrite this over here, so U plus V equals £3.40. So in this case, I've got V plus £1.20 equals U. I'm just going to rearrange that so I have all my numbers on one side and all my letters on the other side. So that will give me, so I want to have U and V, my variables, on one side and my numbers on the other. So if I take away U from both sides, I'll have, and I'm going to just put it this way around for ease, you'll see why in a minute. If I'll have minus U, because I've taken U away from both sides, plus V equals, and on the other side here I'll have to subtract £1.20 from each side, so I'll have minus £1.20. Okay. So if I subtract these from each other, I'll get rid of my V. Okay, but now we need to be careful with our subtractions. I could also add them and I'll have 2V, but in any case I'm going to have to be confident working with my negatives using this method. So I'm going to do V take away V, that gives me nothing, so I've eliminated my V value. But I'll do U take away minus U. Now careful, that's like 1 take away minus 1, which is the same as 1 plus 1, 1U plus 1 more U. Yet U take away minus U is the same as adding them, so I've got 2U equal to, now same thing here, £3.40 take away minus £1.20, same as add £1.20, so it gives me 2U equals £4.60, which means that U equals £2.30. Okay, so if U equals £2.30, I can then resubstitute back into here and I can see that my V has got to be equal to £3.40 take away £2.30, which is £1.10. So it's possible to do it either way, but I think with this one substitution looks like the easier. It's best to have both in your toolbox or in your locker. Okay, choose your metaphor. Okay, In a toy box, there are blue and green bricks only. Find the weight of each type of brick if 9 blue bricks and 6 green bricks weigh 324 grams, and 5 blue bricks and 4 green bricks weigh 200 grams. Okay, let's start to tackle this question. Where should I begin with this? Right, okay, let's have a look. So 9 blue bricks, 9, I'm going to call those blue. Okay, so that's actually, the B is the weight of the blue bricks, just need to be careful with that. And 6 times by the weight of each green brick, so I'll call that G, equals 324. And 5 times the weight of each blue brick plus 4 times the weight of each green brick equals 200. Okay, so I've got that set up, and you'll get 2 marks for just setting that up correctly. And then from that point, I need to think, how am I going to eliminate one of those variables? And it looks to me, although you could do it by substitution, it looks like perhaps an easier one to do by elimination. So I'm going to look for a common multiple, and here, if I get these to 12, if I multiply this one by 2 and this one by 3, then I'll get my g's as 12 each, and then I'll be able to work from there quite straightforwardly. So if I multiply all of that by 2 and all of this one by 3, that gives me 18b plus 12g multiplying everything equals 2 lots of 324 equals 648. It's grams here, just not to forget. So we got, okay, I'm going to multiply by 3, so I got 15b, 15 times the weight of each blue brick, plus 12 times the weight of each green brick, if I'm multiplying by 3, gives me 600 grams. Now if I'm eliminating, and I got these two are both positive, I can subtract. So that gives me 3 lots. The weight of each blue brick is equal to 48. In which case I'm just going to divide both sides by 3. And that gives me the weight of a blue brick is 16 grams. Not quite finished. So if the weight of a blue brick is 16 grams, I'm going to resubstitute in just to make sure what the weight of a green brick is. So 5 lots of 16, if I substitute into this one, plus 4 lots of whatever the green brick is, equals 200. So 5 lots of 16 gives me 80, 5 times 10 gives me 50, 5 times 6 gives me 30, so that's 80, plus 4g equals 200, just substituting in. So that means that 4g equals 120, and that therefore g equals 30 grams. When you're actually doing these questions in an exam, I strongly recommend, even in an assessment, if you've got time, is to really carefully double check, put these values back into the original formula and make sure that they work. Okay? Definitely an exam, when you come to the end of the paper, if you've got time, you make sure you check that through. Hopefully you will have time. Bill sold 75 tickets, question 3, for a naked season gig. He sold X £5 tickets and Y £8 tickets. He collected £444. How many of each type of ticket did he sell? So firstly, he sold X type tickets and Y type tickets, and that together came to 75. Right? The number of £5 tickets and £8 tickets together came to 75. The mark for setting that up. And each one is £5. Each of the X ones is £5. So the amount that he collected was 5 times by the number of £5 tickets, right? So £5 times by the number of tickets, plus £8 times by the number of that type of ticket, and that would equal 444. Now you could solve this by either elimination or substitution. I'd need to rearrange it to solve it by substitution, but that would be fairly straightforward. But in this case, I will solve it by elimination. So to get from there to there, if I'm going to eliminate the x value, it's a lesser multiplication, so I'll probably just do that. So that gives me 5x plus 5y equals 75 times 5, so 75 times 2 is 150, times by 4 would give me 300, so it's 375 times by 5. So that gives me 3y is equal to 444 take away 375, which is 69. So y is therefore equal to 23. So we sold 23 tickets at £8 per ticket. And let's substitute that back in. So this formula here, x plus y, so we've got x plus, if I substitute that value in for y, x plus 23 equals 75. So x equals 75 take away 23 from both sides. That's going to equal 52. Again, substitute those values in just to double check for yourself if you've got time. Let's have a look at these next few questions, which are more towards the A grade type questions, particularly where you're involving working with negatives, will continually trip you up, this negatives working. So let's have a look. Solve simultaneous equations. I'm just going to do a bit of focus. 4x minus y equals 17, y equals x minus 2. Straight away I can see this is a great candidate for substitution because I've already got my y value given as x minus 2. So I got 4x, I'm going to go straight for substitution, minus, now this is the critical bit here, that y is x minus 2, it's all of that. So it's minus all of that, it's minus x minus 2 equals 17. And this is the key bit with negatives which will trip you up. Okay, so that's 4x minus x. That's the same as minus 1 times x. So that's minus x. But minus 2, that's the same as minus 1 times by minus 2, which gives me plus 2 equals 17. And that is the point where most people will make the mistake here. Right there. So be careful to double check that, and your work on negatives is absolutely critical. I'm going to simplify this therefore, so I've got 3x plus 2 equals 17. So I've got 3x equals 15 if I take 2 off both sides, and x equals 5 if I then divide by 3. So x is equal to 5. Right, I can see here I'm going to substitute back in, so y equals x minus 2. So y equals x I know is 5, take away 2, so therefore, this is the sign for therefore, y equals 3. Okay. This question here, you just need to spot, it's a bit of problem solving really, so I need to just spot this. I've got y and I've got x plus 2. Now in a rectangle, those are the same, aren't they? So y is equal to x plus 2. As soon as you spot these, it's quite a straightforward question, but you just need to spot this first bit. And x must be equal to 2y minus 6. Okay, so the easier one to substitute, I think, looks like x plus 2. I'm going to substitute that one in. Okay, so you can do it either way round. Doesn't make a big difference. Do it either way round, but I'm going to take x plus 2 and substitute it into this one. So no, hang on. I'll substitute it back into that one, shall I? Okay. Either way around, so I'm just going to choose one. I can't quite work out which one's going to be the easiest way, but they'll both be relatively easy. So I'm going to take the x is 2y minus 6. I'm going to substitute that value back in. So I'm taking this here, I'm substituting it in. So that gives me y equals 2y minus 6 plus 2. Okay, so if I subtract 1y from each side, it's going to be 0, because I'm just taking away the y, equals y minus 6 plus 2. So if I simplify that, that's 0 equals y minus 4. And then if I add 4 to both sides, I've got 4 equals y. So y is equal to 4. If y is equal to 4, I know that I could substitute back into here. So 4 equals x plus 2. Right? Substituting back into this formula here. So then all I need to do is subtract 2 from both sides. Okay, so that gives me 2 equals x. So x is 2, y is 4. Okay, going to have a look at this question 6. Solve the simultaneous equations. So I've got, this time it's sort of negatives hell really. I'm trying to, you really have to get on top of these negatives, so that's why I put this in. So we've got 5x plus 2y equals minus 34. Careful, make sure you're copying the question out right. 4x minus 3y equals minus 41. Straight away this looks to me like something that would probably be best solved with by elimination. And I can easily spot that these two, if the common factor is 20. So I'm going to make these both into 20 and I'm going to take them away to get rid of my x. So if I multiply I'll keep them in the right order, so I'm going to multiply that one in the same order that we got here, I suppose. Doesn't have to be, but there we go. I'm going to multiply that one by 4 and this one by 5, and just to be careful. Okay, so I'll start with this one, multiply by 4. So I've got 20x. I need to multiply by 4 plus 8y. Okay, equals, I'm going to multiply minus 34 by 4. So that gives me minus 120 and then minus another 16, so minus 136, is it? I think so. Okay, so have a look at this other one. If I multiply by 5, that gives me 20x, and 5 times by minus 3, minus 15y, and that equals, okay, so I want 5 lots of minus 41, gives me minus, minus 40 times 5 is minus 200, and minus 1 times 5 it's minus 5, so that's minus 205. Yeah, this is the negatives hell I was telling you about. So we've got to subtract. So 20x take away 20x gives me nothing. 8x take away minus 15x. Okay, so that's going to give me 8 take away minus 15 gives me plus 23. It's the same as adding 15 on. So I've got 23y equals, and do minus 136, take away minus 205, the same as adding on 205. So it actually gives me 69. Therefore, y is equal to, if I divide both by 23 rather, y is equal to 3. All I need to do now is substitute in. So if y is 3, let's take any of these ones. So if I have this 5x, I'm going to sub into 5x. Okay, now if y is 3, this is going to be plus 6 equals minus 34. I need to subtract 6 from both sides just to get my x on one side. So that gives me 5x equals 6 less than minus 34, minus 40. So x is going to be, you need to divide both by 5, so that's minus 8. So x is minus 8 and y is 3. So that was the end of that, but it's not quite the end of the assessment, because I gave you a challenge question. And that is here. Let's have a look at it. Adjusting the camera to get it all in. Focus it. Okay. Kabir and Hassan both have some books. If Kabir gives Hassan 10 books, Hassan will have twice as many as Kabir does. If Hassan gives Kabir 20 books, they will have the same number. How many books do Hassan and Kabir have to begin with? Okay. Right, let's start at the beginning. They've both got some books. Okay. If Kabir gives Hassan 10 books, okay, so that'd be Kabir. I'm going to say number of books. K is number of books Kabir has. Number of books Kabir. And I may as well make H number of books of Hassan. Okay, so let's start here. Okay, Kabir gives Hassan 10 books, so Kabir will have 10 less after he's given 10 away. Hassan will have twice as many as Kabir does. Okay, well firstly, if he's given them away, then Hassan must have got them. He's given them Hassan. He's not just thrown them away, he's given them to Hassan. So Hassan's got 10 more. But Hassan, at this point, he's got twice as many books as Kabir. So in order for them to make that equal, I'd need to multiply this one by 2. Or divide that one by 2. Okay, but in either way around that will work. This is probably slightly easier to work with. So that is one complete expression. I'm going to multiply that out just because I can. So that gives me 2k, and I don't, it's probably easier to. So we've got 2k, take away 20, equals h plus 10. Okay, that's one equation I've got to work with. Let's have a look at this next one. If Hassan gives Kabir 20 books, okay, so we've got h, he gives 20 away, and Kabir gets those 20. Okay, that's fine. They'll have the same number because those equal each other. Right. Now, how am I going to work with this? And I think there are multiple ways you can now do this, but I suspect an easy way might well be to look at substitution. So I want to get either Hassan or Kabir and isolate that and then substitute in to the other expression. So if I find Hassan in terms of Kabir, that's going to reduce the amount of negatives I've got to work with. So Hassan is equal to, the number of books Hassan's got is the number of books Kabir's got, plus actually 40, because if I add 20 to both sides, so I'd have k plus 20 more, so it's k plus 40. And that makes sense, because if Hassan gave Kabir 20 books, they have the same number, then yeah, he must have had 40 more. Hassan must have had 40 more to begin with, so he had what Kabir had and 40 more. So that's fine, and I can now substitute in. Okay, so I'm going to substitute this in here. H, this part here, is going to substitute into there. Sub in. Okay, so what have I got? I've got 2k minus 20 equals k plus 40 and plus another 10. Okay, so let's have a look. If I subtract 1k from both sides, plus 10. So if I subtract 1k from both sides, I've got, because I want all the variables on one side, all the numbers on the other, ideally. So that'll give me k minus 20 equals, okay, 40 plus 10 I can simplify to 50, and I've subtracted the k from both sides, so I don't have any k left on that side. So I've got k minus 20. So Kabir's got, it's got to be 70, because I'm going to add 20 to both sides. Okay, so Kabir's got 70. I know that Hassan has got Kabir and 40 more, so Hassan has got 70 plus 40. It's just substituting into this one, so Hassan has got 110 books. Kabir's got 70 books. There you go. That's this type of question is probably the most tricky simultaneous equations type question that I've seen, and it's very, very similar to that one which you had to do, which I struggled to think about correctly at first. I think remember. So Andy and Ben both have a collection of marbles. If Andy gives Ben 15 marbles, they'll have an equal number. An equal number. If Ben gives Andy 15 marbles, Andy will have 4 times as many as Ben. How many marbles does Andy have? That is your challenge question to try to do. Okay, you're going to need to use this. It's very, very similar in the method that you're going to use to tackle this question. So that's the question, and that's your further question to do at home. Thank you for watching the video, and good luck with your corrections. Can you please make sure that you show your method for any mistakes that you've made, and have a go at this question as well. Good luck.